What is up, everybody? Icy Mike here, and today I'm bringing you another Sid Meier's Civilization VI video. In this video, I am going to show you all civilizations that are going to be in the game. That is correct. Yesterday, due to a live stream broadcasted of Civilization VI, we saw a list of all the leaders that are currently in game. And from this list of leaders, we're able to pretty much guess which civilizations we will see come release day, which is October 21st. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the screen grab, and I'm going to run down the list, but I want to skip over the ones I've already talked about. If you haven't already, please check out my previous Civilization VI video where I'm breaking down each civilization. As we get more information, I'm going to go ahead and post part 2, but right now I only had enough information for part 1 to break down about 8 civilizations, including their unique units, unique buildings, their leader, and their leader's traits and agendas. So be sure to go check that out, link in the description below. But yeah, so here's a screen grab. Let's run down the list, and I'm going to show you which civilizations are going to be in the game. Okay, so first civilizations that we see, or first leaders we see in this list are Catherine de' Medici, which we've talked about, and she's the leader of France. Then we have Cleopatra, the leader of Egypt, talked about her. Frederick Barbarossa, we haven't talked about, but we will in part 2, as they have already released information about him, but he is the leader of Germany. And you can see in this screen grab, there's a lot of detailed information about him. But the new one that I want to talk about, or the one that hasn't been confirmed until now, is Gandhi. Now, this really isn't a surprise for past Civilization players because he has been in multiple versions of the game, but he is making his way into Civilization VI. And I think everybody has heard of Gandhi, but if you haven't, he existed during the late 1800s and the early 1900s, and he was actually the preeminent leader of the Indian independence movement in British-ruled India. And he pretty much was kind of a non-violent civil activist kind of guy, very pro-civil rights. So we're going to see him in the game. That's not really a surprise to anybody, I don't think, but nice to see it's confirmed nonetheless. Now, the next one is a pretty cool one. We're actually going to see Gilgamesh. Now, for those who don't know who Gilgamesh is, he's actually a person we're not sure actually existed. It is believed that he possibly existed, but it's not actually confirmed. He was actually a main character in a famous literature piece called the Epic of Gilgamesh. And basically, he was the ruler of a city called Uruk and tried to defend his people. And if you haven't read the poem or the epic, however you want to call it, definitely something you should check out. Kind of cool story there. But yes, he's going to make his way into the game. And the civilization he would be leading would in fact be Sumeria. Next on the list is Gorgo. Now this is where things get super interesting because Gorgo is the queen of Sparta. Yes, I said it, the Queen of Sparta. She was actually the wife of King Leonidas. So hopefully you've seen the movie 300, gives you really good amount of information regarding Sparta and, you know, the Battle of 300. But nonetheless, we have Gorgo as the Queen of Sparta, which Sparta is a Greece state, which means she would be the leader of Greece, right? That's what I'm thinking. But we also have another leader called Pericles down on the list. Pericles was a statesman in Athens, which is also another Greece city. So we have 2 leaders for Greece. So that either means one or two things. We're going to see Athens and Sparta as 2 separate civilizations, but I find that very unlikely. I think our best bet is that we're going to have multiple leaders for one civilization, the ability to select one. So Gorgo being a military type person, you know, because of Sparta, this would give you the ability to play Greece, you know, as a domination type victory style. And then Pericles, which we'll talk a little bit later, would be, you know, more of a cultural science type guy. But yeah, that's my theory. Let me know what you think about it, what your theory is on that. But yeah, pretty cool to see Gorgo in there. Next is Harald Hardrada. Harald Hardrada brings us Vikings. He is the king of Norway, so we're actually going to see Vikings in Civilization VI, which I'm really excited about. And I can only guess that their unique unit will be some kind of early medieval ship. We can only guess, but that's my best bet. But he's famous for many battles and was really the pinnacle of the Vikings during his time. Next on the list is Hojo Tokimune, which we've already talked about. He's the leader of Japan. Montezuma, he's the leader of Aztecs, and he will be coming if you pre-order the Civilization VI game before 90 days of the release. So you would get the Aztec Empire and the leader Montezuma. We've already talked about him though. But the next one, which I really can't pronounce, so let me know if I say it wrong in the comment section as well. But I'm going to give it a try, but he does have an English version. But let's go ahead and give it a shot. Vimba Azinga. I don't know how I did. You let me know. But the English translation is Afonso I of Congo. So that means we will have Congo as a civilization, which gives us our African civilization. Whether we have more, I don't know. It probably will come in DLC, but it's pretty much the sole African civilization besides Egypt, which you can consider Egypt African, I guess, as well. They're kind of in between them and the Middle East, however you want to look at it. But yeah, so Afonso I of Congo. Not really a lot about him. He resided during the 16th century. A couple famous battles, but other than that, nothing too crazy. Now let's talk about Pericles, but before that we see Pedro II. We've talked about him. He leads Brazil. But Pericles, I mentioned, he was actually a statesman in Athens. And there's also, the time he led was also known as the Age of Pericles. A real prominent era called the Golden Age for Athens. So I think this is where we're going to see him play a part as a cultural science type victory for Greece. And I don't think we'll see two separate civilizations. Cool to see that we're going to have multiple leaders. I'm kind of excited about that. It kind of will give you the ability to play civilizations different ways, which I didn't really see in Civilization V. Now, the next one we see on the list is Peter. Now, we all know Peter's a very common name, so who could this be? Well, with about a 95% guarantee, I can tell you that it's probably Peter the Great who leads Russia. We've seen Russia in previous Civilization games. I don't see why they wouldn't include Russia in this one. And Peter the Great, also known Peter as the First, was a famous ruler during the mid to late 1600s and kind of created the Russian Empire. Next on the list, we have Philip II. Now, Philip II is the leader of Spain, and he also resided during what's called a Golden Age. And he is famous for several attempts of battles, specifically the Spanish Armada against England. So it's going to be interesting to see what his traits are. I would say kind of like a military type focus, but a very popular figure for Spain. After Philip II, we have Qin Shi Huang. We've talked about that person in our previous video, the leader of China. And then after that one is Saladin. Now, Saladin is the leader of what we're going to have as Arabia. Now, he was the first sultan of Egypt and Syria, and actually the founder of the Ayyubid dynasty, which is a famous Arabic dynasty. But yeah, so he's going to be the leader of Arabia. We've had Arabia in previous Civilization games, so not really a surprise there, but nice to have that confirmed nonetheless. Now let's move on to another screen grab where we see the very bottom of the leader list minus a couple civilizations or one civilization that wasn't shown, which is England, Queen Victoria. But under Saladin, we see Teddy Roosevelt, which we've already talked about, the leader of America. Tomris, we haven't talked about, but we will. It has already been announced, the leader of Scythia. But then underneath that, we see a name called Trajan. And Trajan is famous because he was a Roman emperor from 98 AD until his death in 117 AD. And he was really the leader of during the pinnacle of the Roman Empire. Trajan is remembered as a successful soldier emperor who presided over the greatest military expansion in Roman history, leading to its, basically its big territorial expansion. So cool to see him. No surprise that Roman's going to be a military type civilization. But yeah, we have Roman Civilization 6, really good stuff. And like I said, you can't see on the list, but we can only assume since it's alphabetical that Queen Victoria is down at the bottom. And that would be obviously the leader of England. And that gives us 19 leaders for 18 civilizations. Now, there's been a couple guesses about some other civilizations that are going to be in the DLC, but I won't really talk about those because it's not, 100% guaranteed, and I don't want to have any misinformation in this video. But unless anything changes between now and release, here we have it. These are our civilizations and our leaders that will be taking them to the end of time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. If you found this video enjoyable/useful, then please hit that like button. And if you want to be updated on upcoming Civilization 6 videos or even other videos, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. But I will see you all in the next video.